Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Apex Podcast. My name is Meredith, and I am steering this ship today, as Paul likes to say, taking our every weekly selfie that he will be posting. But I am joined by both of my co-hosts today. Paul, how are you on this early morning for you in Denver, Colorado?
We are doing good. The sun is shining. Motorsports had a great weekend, and I couldn't be more happy to talk to you guys.
Awesome. Yeah, and he's coming off a 12-hour shift, so we made him wake up early for this one. So thanks for joining. How are you today, Josh?
I'm doing good, doing good. Just trying to beat the heat out here and want to get in a pool. At some point today, that's my goal. So I'm going to get in the pool and I'm going to start reading about this week's WEC race because I kind of forgot that was happening. So I'm going to be pretty stoked. I got to hit the highlights on the news going on.
Absolutely. And show everybody your special guest of the week.
He is in the corner over here.
We have a very new special member to the Apex Podcast family.
Oh my
This is
God.
Trig, Josh and Courtney's new Dalmatian. So Paul just got a puppy about a month ago. Josh has a new puppy. Joe will murder me if I get a new puppy. But I feel like we need some Apex dog collars. I feel like that's going to be in the design works for tonight. So I'll let you know what I'm on.
Can
That'd be
we
really
do
cool.
that?
We
Is
should
that a
definitely do that.
thing? Can you just do that?
Yeah.
You can do anything.
Yeah, I'll mock up
Dude,
some collars tonight and send them your
done.
way. I mean, I got 4 here that need collars too. So let's just do this. Apex Podcast, Pups and Podcasts. We're doing it, y'all.
Yes,
But
let's
we
Pups
do
and
it.
had
podcasts.
awesome big racing this weekend. We had F1 at Silverstone. We had IndyCar at Ohio. We had NASCAR at Chicagoland. But let's jump right in on F1 Silverstone, one of my favorite races of the whole season. And I was very interested to see how the new cars did with the new regulations at Silverstone this year. So, Josh, I will come to you first with your thoughts.
Yeah, I think it was a little better than expected, right? Well, I think the biggest tell was some of the speeds in the high speed corners. You know what? None of the cars seemed to struggle too bad on the battery. It was a decent race up until the controversial ending, right? A little rough around the edges. It was fun racing. Silverstone's always fun. The atmosphere is always good. I saw that was the largest weekend attendance for any Formula One race ever, so it beat the record. So that's really cool. It
Same.
just shows you how much that sport has grown, and England and Silverstone being one of the cornerstones of the season. I'm not surprised that it was at Silverstone. What a cool track, cool circuit, cool history. Sucks for Kimmy. Again, kind of feels like he was robbed of another victory that might have put him out of reach for the championship battle. But I see you got your Ferrari shirt on. I mean, what a weekend for Ferrari. Kind of walked away with the bag there. Great for Lewis to be on the podium back at home as well. And Charles Leclerc, we were literally talking last week about Mr. has been terrible since Monaco here.
He
And
needed that.
he just figured it out. He just figured it out. It seemed like the third free practice, he just like turned it on, and it seems like something clicked, or he found an adjustment he liked, and he has looked like a different man. Great for Ferrari. I'm glad to see them back.
Me too. What about you, Paul? What were your initial thoughts?
I mean, Silverstone is always one of those tracks that never disappoints, right? There's always something that comes up, whether it's rain, whatever it might be. And I think it was one of those weekends. It was a lot of fun to watch. We thought Kimmy was going to run away with it, but mechanical issues or front wing issues, whatever it might be, and it is what it is there. And then ultimately that stupid decision slash software issue that I just can't seem to understand, how the pinnacle of racing can't seem to get it together. And it's like, I don't know. We'll dive into it deeper, but congrats to Charles. I saw this morning that it was a first Ferrari double podium since 2024. So congrats to them for that. So it's pretty cool for that. And yeah, overall, it was a fun weekend. Silverstone never disappoints you. You're always going to get some fun action in Silverstone.
Agreed. So I want to get y'all's take on this because I mean, like, I was thrilled with the Ferrari start. Kimmy with another bad start. Do we think that if Kimmy had launched with a great start and gotten out in the lead on that first lap, do we think that trajectory would have been different for him maybe? Or do we ultimately think that the mechanical failure or whatever happened would have just doomed his race anyway?
What did happen? Was it just a fluke thing?
It was, so he picked up damage on the rumble strips. So
Mhm.
Silverstone, a couple of the corners have some pretty aggressive curbing, and the serrations on the curb cause a lot of vibrations, and it knocked a piece of the wheel coping off, and it kind of I believe, blocked a brake duct and messed up the aero, which is nuts to me that such a small
It's insane.
bit, like a small bit like that can cause like literally the car was undrivable. He was unable to keep it on track. Yeah, I don't know. The race start is a whole separate conversation. I think his race was ended by the damage he picked up. It looked like from what they were talking about with the data, he would have caught the leaders with like 6 laps to go. So there would have been a battle for the lead at the end of the race had it not picked up the damage. So Kimmy was right there in the mix. So I do think his race was killed by the unfortunate damage. But it's crazy that little bit of damage can cause that car to be a disaster. So that really sucks for Kimmy
Yeah, but
because he
my
was having
thought
a
was
strong
that if
race.
he wouldn't have been fighting in that traffic, if he would have had a better start and wouldn't have been fighting back in that traffic, trying to battle George, battle Lewis, like the fact that him and George were battling in those first several laps, it was like,
Hmm.
oh, if Kimmy would have had a better start, my thought, if he would have had a better start, been out in the front, had clean air, he wouldn't have had to be battling and had all those, like maybe he wouldn't have been like it's a series of unfortunate events in my brain because I love Kimmy. In my brain, if he would have had a better start and gotten out in the lead and had that clean air, maybe he wouldn't have been in that position where he was kind of like battling and back in there and had that little curve issue. But I don't know, could just be one of those absolute freak accidents, like you said, for a piece that small to be blocking the air duct. That's just insane. It just sucks. But George has had a couple of mechanical failures this season. Kimmy's now had a couple. So it's kind of like, all right, figure it out, Mercedes. Like we've paid our mechanical error dues. I hate seeing drivers lose out on points and races due to mechanical issues. Like, even though, like, I love Kimmy, I'm not the biggest George fan, but it does suck to see them drive great races and then their races be ended due to no error of their own. That sucks.
Yeah, absolutely does. And I know it's part of racing, but you hate to see, especially when it's like a championship battle. Am I really sad to see that like Sergio Perez or Lance Stroll or Fernando get a DNF? Like, no, not really. Like it's like it's unfortunate, but they weren't battling for a position. But then you've got like championship leaders that I don't want to see a championship decided by mechanical error. I want to see a championship decided on track. I think we
Agreed.
all do. So
I thought my favorite part of the races was honestly, like, I felt like essentially like laps 3 to like 30, I could have just taken a little nap, but then like laps 30 to like 40, that kind of like stretch in there where it was like George and Max just kind of like get George, Max, and Lewis. It was kind of like they just kept trading back places. And I thought that was such fun wheel to wheel racing to watch for like 8 laps. I'm like, and they just kept passing and going back and forth. That was probably my favorite racing of the whole. I mean, granted, like I didn't see much of like the midfield or the backfield racing or anything like that, but I thought the George, Max, Lewis battle for a couple laps was my favorite part of the racing. What about y'all?
Oh, absolutely. And we were talking about it because we were texting back and forth through the race. I said, "This race is boring," and you're like, "Just give it a bit; it'll spice up."
Give it some
Listen,
time, Paul. I promise it's gonna spice up.
and that's exactly what happened. It spiced up for sure, and I think that's just the racing we've had. It's boring towards the middle, but right at closer to the end, it really does ice things up. And it was just nice to see those battles between Max and Lewis and all those other drivers. I really did enjoy that.
I still don't understand how George got away with his pit lane dive. Like, how was that not a penalty? You're battling for 5 laps, 3 wide, all through the turns, and then you're wide, and then you dive bomb across into the pit lane. Like, that was dangerous.
It's
I
like
don't
it's like
How is
you
that
understand.
within the racing? Like, I don't like if the FIA penalties are based on keeping drivers safe. To me, I didn't understand how that was not a penalty. Kind of like last weekend, like I thought the Lando pit lane thing was probably going to be a penalty. So I don't understand how George didn't get a penalty for that dive bomb move.
It
well,
makes
because
no sense.
he didn't make contact with anybody. That's kind of the big thing. Is as long as there's no contact, they're gonna say no foul play. It's reminiscent of I don't remember what year it was, but it was Schumacher and Vettel were battling, and kind of the same thing where they were on the like a do the opposite of what he does type situation, and he dove in, and it's a cool like drift move that may or may not have been incidental.
But
Anyway,
but what's the
it's just part
point?
of it. What's the
What's the
point is
point?
to try to keep your tire offset with the guy that you're trying to battle, especially in a place like Silverstone where obviously the undercut was super strong.
Yeah.
So
I
you
just
don't it's part of the strategy. I mean, it's a risky move, he pulled it off. You have to applaud the skill that it takes to be confident enough to do something like that. But I mean, you can't penalize the potential for an incident, right? Or we're just never going to have any wheel to wheel racing.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like there have definitely been penalties for other drivers over the last 6 years where a collision didn't happen, but there have been penalties for, like, it like, I'm gonna have to do my research on this one because I swear I've seen other drivers get penalties for dangerous maneuvers that didn't cause a collision, but they were dangerous enough to break the rules.
And Josh brings up a good point because I know that you heard it on the radio. His engineer was like, "Whatever Max does, we're doing the opposite of it," which makes perfect sense. But however, I didn't feel like it was the need to be that aggressive to then just go into the pits. I thought it was risk a lot the reward was very little to risk that much.
I mean, the reward landed him on the podium, though. Him choosing to pit when he did last second, going in, get the tires, that was 4 laps before the virtual safety car for the Audi having to retire. Like, I think the timing of that is what put George on that podium, which, like, how does he keep sneaking on the podium?
Yeah,
Like,
does
He
nothing.
the
All the
whole
memes
race,
is like
I
the
was
does
thinking it was
nothing ends
going
up
to
on the
be
podium.
Charles and Kimmy and Lewis, or Charles and Kimmy and Lando. At one point I thought Max was going to go for it. And then obviously Max had that massive issue with the rear wing that sent him off into the gravel, which honestly was a bummer to see. I hate that. I thought Max was, again, driving an incredible race. He looked strong, just like he looked strong in Austria. But yeah, I don't know. I was like, all of a sudden, I'm like, George, what are you doing here?
Do we think he would have landed on the podium had the issues not occurred towards the end?
I don't
Who?
my determination of, like, him being on the podium would have been, like, had Kimmy not had the issues that Kimmy had. If Kimmy had not had the issues that he had, George isn't on that podium at all. Like, no questions asked. That's what happens in my mind. I mean, the fact that Kimmy placed where he did and was able to finish that race even after multiple pit stops to try to fix that issue. Like, I mean, it was like they were saying it was like that thing over the wheel was, like, preventing him, and, like, it was causing issues. And he's like, no, let me finish. I loved that he still wanted to finish. I think that was awesome. But had that not happened with Kimmy, George doesn't end on a podium for me. So even the rest of that stuff with, the safety car and all of that, I don't know. I don't think it was necessarily just the safety car with Max's wreck that landed George where he was. I think it was a culmination of a series of unfortunate events that led to George being on the podium. Did I read that was George's first podium at Silverstone?
Is it?
I think I saw him post that it was his first podium at Silverstone, which I don't know why. Like, I thought he had gotten podiums there before. Maybe that
Seems
was
about
just his
right.
best
Right.
placement there. I don't
Right.
know. We also have to talk about, Paul, how you mean, hi, baby. What you doing, Wrigley?
Being an asshole.
Yeah, oh, Wrigley, don't be an asshole.
God, just destroying everything.
We have to talk about that, Paul. You manifested a Cadillac double finish.
Cadillac is back, baby. They're winning it all. I'm
Cadillac is
telling
so
you,
back.
I
I
am
did almost
convinced.
have a visceral reaction to Josh saying Sergio Perez earlier, because I was like, who's Sergio Perez? Because, like, just Checo feels
Checo.
innate. But it did take me a solid 2 seconds to register you were talking about Checo. But I thought, number one, I thought it was awesome that Checo showed up in his Mexico team kit for race day. That was amazing. Number two, super excited for Cadillac. That's great progress for them. So thank you for manifesting that, Paul.
Back, baby.
They're back, or they're arriving.
They are at the back.
They're at They're at the back, but they've arrived to the phase of Formula One where they're finishing races, which I think is
Yes. Oh,
fantastic.
yay. Your brakes don't ignite in the first 3 laps.
Calling it now.
Congratulations, Cadillac.
They're on the podium at Spa next weekend.
Hey, oh, that'd be crazy. Okay, any other specific teams y'all want to talk about before we talk about that virtual safety car and that ending?
No, let's talk about that stupid virtual safety car crap. This is dumb. This is horse shit.
I guess I'm just, like, really confused because, like, the FIA came out and said that it was a technical error, that the safety car didn't receive the notification in time, that it should have come in for the final lap of racing. But then they also released this, like, 3-paragraph statement that was essentially saying, like, it wouldn't have been safe for the safety car to unrelease and have that come in and have a one. Like, I was very confused in the messaging there.
It's stupid. Okay, fine. Let's go with the fact that it's a software issue. Is there not a goddamn human there that can override that and make the decision on the go? What the
Mm,
fuck are we relying on machines so goddamn much that, oh, the machine killed the machine, and there's not a fucking human to fix it?
Right?
I
This
mean,
is
probably not within those seconds. I mean, because it is. Sorry, I gotta move the dog off of
no, it's all right,
something.
but this is
I feel like, yeah. I mean, I get it, it's computerized, but I don't think they really realized that there was an issue until we were past the start finish line,
Yeah.
right? Like the
And then they're like,
notification.
"Oh, Lord. Oh, because it said safety car ending."
Yes,
And then we're past the start finish. I'm like, "What? What?"
like how are we doing this? Yeah. So I personally hate this era of no refueling.
Mhm.
Just personally, having watched all of the early 2000s with the refueling, it adds such a dynamic, and this is another reason why. Here we are, you have to have a set number of laps because of the fuel. Every time there's like a false start or we have to do another formation lap, these are laps we're losing off of our race on both ends. It would feel like in years past where we're like, okay, there's a software issue. Let's add the lap. We're just going to add another lap. That was our fault, you know? And I just feel like we're robbed of a lot of not only strategy and racing, but just, I don't know.
I saw someone online propose the idea that if a full safety car happens within the last 5 laps, that they should immediately red flag the race.
Yeah. And
And I
start
was like,
from,
"I love that concept," and it was funny, he was
imagine
like,
a standing start, 5 laps to go.
yes. That would be amazing because, like, Mahira and the girl that I met at the Space City Racing Club last weekend, she and I watched the race again, downtown on Sunday, and she was showing me their group chat. There was a couple of girls that they all went to the Barcelona race together, and she was showing me their group chat that was popping off, and someone was like, "Why can't they add time like they do in soccer?" And I was like, "Man, I would love that." You know? Like, "Hey, just like red flag it and then do a standing start," or it's hey, we're gonna add, if it's we're under safety car for 4 laps, then hey, we'll add 2 laps. Like,
Yeah. And like if you did have refueling in the future, you know, everybody comes down and takes on 4 laps of fuel, mandatory red flag it and add that amount of fuel, and then you just have a shootout finish, which would be cool. I don't think they'll ever go for that. It's very American
never,
sport,
rumor
never.
has it
But
ish for us.
even if
rumor
they
has
red
it that
flagged it, that wouldn't require a refuel.
Right.
If they said red flag, everybody's coming back into the pits, like, everybody come back. That's it. Red flag, stay in your car, and then we'll do standing start. Like, I would love that, but I think it was just crappy because I think we all expected to get the 1 lap shootout because
So
all the signs that we were seeing said we were going to get the 1 lap shootout. I think if
I know.
from the get-go they had said, this is not looking like it's going to clear, we will most likely be ending the race on a safety car, I think we would have been a lot less disappointed. We would have been like, no, what a bummer, but boo, okay, fine. It was the fact that we thought we were going to get the 1 lap shootout,
It's the
which would have
anticipation of
been
it.
impeccable.
So let me ask you this. Now that we've all kind of watched other motorsport series, we see how different safety cars in these situations are handled series by series, right? Example, we watched the Nuremberg 24. There is no safety car. It's a massive track, right? So they just have areas of the track that are slow speed while they manage whatever incident took place. Not saying Formula One needs to do that per se, but WEC has more of a prevalent of like a virtual safety car system where they just go virtual safety car, the car is removed, and we're right back to racing. Do we think that Formula One should adopt a more liberal regulation for a virtual safety car in instances like
yes.
this, where the car is off track, there's no damage to barriers, the car is just beached, right? There's no need to repair the barriers, there's no need to pick up debris off the track, there's no marshals that are on the actual racing surface itself. This seems like a perfect opportunity for a virtual safety car, and then allow the car to be removed, and then we can go right back to racing without. Because what we really lost under the safety car was we had to unlap everybody, which takes time, and that's how we ended up missing out on. So what do you think? Should we have a better virtual safety car system?
Yes, as long as the stewards are safe and there's no debris on the track and everything's hunky dory and all we're waiting for is a crane to pick up the car and move it, yes. Be a little more liberal with it. Slow it down on that one section and then let them race the rest of the race. Absolutely.
Agreed. I mean, it's still like, look, we do it every day on the highway. There's a car broken down on the side of the road. Okay, you either move over 2 lanes or you slow down by 40 miles per hour. Those are the laws in Texas. Like, and I do it every single day. Not once has that ever come across my mind where I'm like, I'm in the lane next to him. They're broken down. I'm going to keep going 75. Like you just
You just
I
don't.
think that a virtual safety car system with better regulations about the speed within that zone, if there is not a driver at risk, if there is not damage to the barriers, damage to the track, debris present, I think more of a virtual safety car liberal system would be fantastic. I just, again, don't see it happening.
Right.
I just don't seem to understand how you're okay with finishing the race like that. In I don't know. It just
Yeah,
Because
it
they're
kind of
forced
unfortunately,
to.
like, I do get it though, because I mean, we've finished IndyCar and NASCAR races under safety car too, like it it sucks, but sometimes it just happens, like, right that, like, down at the end, but it just sometimes it is what it is. This situation was not that to me because Max's car was well clear,
Mhm.
like, it was well clear, track was clear.
but doesn't
Like,
NASCAR have like that like 2-lap shootout at the end if this does happen?
I'm not gonna say yes or no. We'll
I
we'll
think
we'll
they do. If
co-pilot
I'm not
that one.
I'm like,
I mean, like, other races have ended under safety cars, though, in other
sure, sure.
series.
But I think NASCAR's got that if you get a safety car late, they'll extend out the race for a 2-lap shootout. If I'm like 80% sure.
That's a
I don't
pretty
know.
high percentage.
You know what? I'm a pretty confident guy this early in the morning. It's not really early.
Yeah,
It's
a NASCAR can end under a yellow flag or safety car. If an accident or caution happens after the leader takes the white flag of the final lap, the race will not be extended and will finish under caution at the start finish line. I was like, no, I was like, I've definitely seen it happen.
see,
So
that's why it was
yes,
only
if it
80%.
happens within the final lap, if it's after the white flag has waved and it's in the final lap. So like the race that I'm thinking of, there was a restart for a 1 lap shootout and there was an immediate wreck up at the front and they had to yellow flag it because they couldn't even continue the lap without, so they had to immediately yellow flag it and finish under the safety car.
Mm.
But I do just think that, it's one of those unfortunate events in F1, but it's so rare. Like, I've never seen an F1 race under a safety car. So hopefully they'll just have a better discourse around it and how to proceed better in the future. Or hopefully the technology will improve better in the future for that.
And getting to your point, Josh, rumor has it, I saw it on Twitter, you got to take it with a grain of salt, that the FIA is considering refueling for the next generation of regulations or whatever.
That'd be dope.
Yeah, I mean, I like it a lot.
I like it. I like it a lot.
It's every other motorsport series seems to have a
Yeah.
refueling aspect, and it does add a huge level of strategy because I mean, they'll probably never do this again, but at one point in time, what you qualified with fuel-wise was what you started with on the race start. So if you underfueled yourself to have a hot qualifying lap, you had to pit pretty early because you didn't have a lot of fuel in your car
Very
at the race
interesting.
start. Yeah, so even in qualifying, it changes the dynamics. Now, I don't think they'll do that necessarily. I think that they would still allow the low fuel levels for qualifying to keep it.
It would definitely spice things up for sure.
Yeah. And so there's a lot of stuff you can do. I'm not going to sit here and harp on refueling any longer, but that it would be cool to see.
Josh is a
Okay,
big fuel
any
guy.
other closing thoughts on Silverstone before we do points recap? Okay, so just to recap what our predictions are, Josh had Kimi, George, Lewis with all Brits getting a point. Paul had Kimi, Oscar, George, Cadillac double finish. I had George, Kimi, Lewis, Arvid landing in points. So Josh picked up 2 points for George and Lewis. Paul picked up a point for the Cadillac double finish. I picked up 2 points for Lewis and Arvid. But what's nice is that we didn't have any DNFs in our points this week. So that brings our new points total to Josh at 11. Paul is at 0. So he is out of the negative, Paul. You are out of the negative. And I am now at 5. So a lot of season left. Plenty of time, Paul. You're already back up out of the negative.
Moving in the
We
right
have done it.
direction.
So let's get into some silly season, because there have been a lot of rumors that have been swirling since the start of Media Day at Silverstone. I have 3 that I would like to talk about. The first one is a continuation of something we talked about last week, which is the rumors that Max is potentially leaving Red Bull, and like that there were conversations with potentially McLaren or whatever. We know Zach Brown came out and was like, nope, I'm happy with my driver lineup. This week brought further evidence after the race where Laurent Mekies was meeting with Jos Verstappen and Max's manager, and there was a very, very heated discussion that was filmed. And then Max was filmed running back into the paddock, running upstairs to participate in a conversation. Very, very heated discussion. So I think, this is further fueling the rumors that Max could potentially be leaving Red Bull. To go where, I don't know, but he has until October to trigger his performance clause that would allow him to leave or to be bought out. What are y'all's thoughts on Max?
Leaving.
I don't know if
On
he
the
leaves.
midnight train to Georgia. I think so
I
too.
don't know.
I think
I
he's leaving. I think he's lost faith in the team. I think he is just kind of fed up with it. I don't think he believes in the vision that this new Red Bull 2.0 is going for.
No, that could be possible. I don't know. As far as the performance thing, it seems like, what it sounds like is that Ford engine is the best on the grid from whatever metrics that they're using, the FIA is using to determine that. It's the strongest motor. Now, their chassis development may leave something to be desired, but honestly, it seems like Max is more fed up about the regulations, less about the team. Now, what I do see pushing him out the door is the loss of GP,
Yes,
right?
that was what
Or
I read,
that's a huge
was that
one.
it was the loss of staff.
Yeah.
It was reported that the issue his manager brought up is that Max is losing faith because the staff that he has committed to and worked with and built trust
All
with,
gone.
all gone, and he's lost faith that they have the talent and staff to be able to continue to deliver a performance enhancing car.
That would be the reason I would see him leave if anything. I don't necessarily think it would be a performance, that may be what he
Yeah.
triggers his call,
Yeah,
to get out of his
that
contract.
would be his technicality to get out of it.
But
But
I don't think
I
he's
don't think he's going to another team. I think if he's leaving, I think he may just take some time. Like, I don't know, unless the next silly season rumor is true. I don't know, like, unless a top team seat with a strong engineering team and strong backing, unless a seat opens up in one of those, I think he would rather step out of the sport for a time if his issue truly is the regulations and it truly is not feeling like there's adequate engineering and staffing. I could see him being like, you know what, I'm gonna take a step back. I don't need this. And he said, I don't need another championship. I just want to race and like have fun racing and be with my family. So I could see him just taking a step back. Okay, so that brings us to the next rumor. Reports are coming out as of last night into this morning that Oscar has notified McLaren and Zach Brown that his desire is to leave McLaren at the end of the season.
Oscar to Red Bull, Max to McLaren.
That's honestly where I'm at.
Yeah,
I could see that's
see
the
it swap.
strongest likelihood. I could see them doing a driver swap and like keeping the same contracts and just because neither team's going to want to keep an unhappy driver,
Agreed.
right? Max is looking out the door. I think Oscar's been looking for a way out since summer of last year.
Yeah,
be honest.
everybody said Monza last year was the breaking point for
Yeah.
Oscar.
Understandably, I mean, what a disaster that was.
Yeah. Yeah, okay,
Oscar
so
seems
we
like
could see that.
Oscar seems kind of like a different man right now. I don't know, like just even his media relations stuff, his driving, he seems just like a little checked out.
Yeah.
To me,
Agreed.
this isn't the Oscar we saw last year.
Saw a very sad clip from the Lego race where Oscar was just driving by himself. He just driving by himself, and it's like Oscar driving by himself because his really like his closest friend on the grid, Lando, is gone. And then they pan the camera over to Lando, and Carlos is riding along with him. And I was like, because I really do like Oscar. I love Oscar. So you know what? Good riddance. Max to McLaren. Oscar to Red Bull. Let Oscar thrive. Mark Webber would love it. Let Oscar be the lead driver. I think it could go well. Who knows?
I agree. Also, what is the dictator doing in a Lego car? Did he have to call Lego and say, "Build me one"? So
Did I
can
not
play?
send y'all the meme?
I don't know.
Hold on, I guess I didn't send you guys this meme because this one sent me over the edge.
I don't seem to understand why the dictator needed to put himself in that situation. It's not. It's a driver's parade. Driver. I can spell. God damn it, driver.
I'm like, I'm having to go
Forget the
back through
S.
all these messages that I sent. Oh, here we go. I'm gonna send it to y'all on the group chat right now. It just sent me over the edge. Okay, the third rumor, while I'm waiting for that to come through, is also related to kind of all of the above. Christian Horner, former Red Bull employee, isn't that good? Christian Horner is rumored to be in negotiations with Lawrence Stroll for a potential position at Aston Martin. Christian Horner has always wanted ownership, not employment. Adrian Newey was given stake in the company when he came to Aston Martin, so we know Lawrence Stroll is open to it. So the discussion now is, would Lawrence want to potentially allow Christian Horner in at a stake ownership and a much lower salary? Because we know it's never been about the salary for Christian Horner. He wants ownership and control. So what are y'all's thoughts? Do you think that we could potentially see Horner at Aston Martin as team principal with stake in the company? And, yeah, take a low salary, but you've got stake in the company. And now you have all the resources that were formerly at Red Bull. Not all of them, but a lot of them. You got Newey. What do y'all think?
Yes, I definitely think that is a possibility. I think Lawrence is going to do anything in his power to try to revive whatever disaster is happening over across the street from Silverstone. It's wild that team had had such a boom and bust. Like every couple of years, it seems like, oh, they're hot, then they're cold, they're hot, and they're cold. They've got to do something, right? And it did not work getting Adrian Newey and that team leadership role. That was very short lived, and I don't think that was either one of their. Yeah, it was just something that I don't know if that was ever really meant to be long term. But Christian has a history of, well, lots of things, but one of them is that he took Red Bull from a very struggling mid to backfield team and turned it into a dynasty.
He did.
Right? That's a hell of a resume, and he may be the best money can buy right now. He's very interested in taking something like that, and I don't think very many people are going to be willing to go over there to begin with. So if you've got somebody knocking on the door, he's got a great resume. There's a lot of
And you don't have to
potential
pay
that
a
he
bunch of
thinks it.
money up front with a fat
Right.
salary.
Not that money is ever the problem over there. They've
But
got more money
also,
than they know what to
their
do with.
salary doesn't count towards the cost cap.
Well,
Did y'all know that?
right. Yes.
I
There.
didn't
That's.
know
I think I
that.
see. Yeah. So, but like you said, it's not about the money, but Aston's the team that has the most, it seems, of money, like disposable money. Anyway, I think ownership would be the ask.
I agree. But do like Lawrence giving stake to Newey is one thing to me. Lawrence giving stake to Horner is another. Like, they're two power players that I don't know.
Yeah, but they're
That's
power
the
players
only
that
thing that I
power
struggle to
play
see.
together. They play well together.
I
You know
can't
what I
I
mean?
can't. We don't need two very rich, powerful men to come together for evil. Although it would
Hey,
be cool to see Aston Martin just absolutely thrive.
yeah. But I mean, I don't know. We can always just hate Flavio still.
Yeah. I still hate Flavio. I mean, but the Alpine thing didn't work out because of that.
I mean, okay. Let's do this one.
Among
Here's
others.
a little side game. Who's worse? You know, who is kind of more just admittedly a piece of shit, but he's kind of just cool with it, or Christian Horner, who is just
Christian Horner.
a piece of shit, but he doesn't want to admit it.
Christian Horner's worse.
Horner. I mean, Flavio's a piece of shit because he cheated, and there is no reason he should be back in the F1 world. He blatantly cheated. But, like, I cheated on a Spanish test in college, Like, does that make me a total piece of shit person? No. But
And
should I be allowed back into a Spanish class? No, but Horner's an actual human piece of shit. Like,
He got somebody fired because he couldn't keep it in his pants.
yeah, like, go to therapy, Christian. Go to therapy.
Yeah.
What was that? Go bang your hot wife. Like, get it together. What more could you need? So I don't know.
Yeah.
I
Flavio
started Horner's piece of
Flavio
shit.
admits he did something wrong and he just rubs it in your face and he just laughs about it. Yeah, he's a bad guy and he shouldn't be back in F1, but here we are. Money talks, but Horner is worse. But apparently you cry enough and you're on your knees enough, somebody's bound to give you a job and has shown that he can't just move on with his life. He's got to kiss ass his way through back to the F1 grid.
Yeah, it does just suck though because Horner has a track record of wonderful team performance. To me, it's easier for a sport to justify Christian Horner coming back in because of the performance he delivered, set the personal stuff aside because nothing was ever concluded, Like, So it's easier. I can understand why, from a business perspective, it's easier to allow Horner back in. Like, is it bad PR? Yeah, but if you put in all the psychological safety training, we're gonna do all the sexual harassment training, da da da. If you say you do all those things and you actually do them, and you bring in somebody who has a track record of turning a team around and delivering multiple world titles, like I can see it from their perspective. Do I like it? No. Can I see it from their perspective? Yes. It is harder for me to understand why Flavio should be allowed back in than it is to understand why Horner would be allowed back in.
I just think this has the smell of Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. I don't think Horner can recreate with Aston Martin what he did with Red Bull. I just don't think so. I don't think he'll ever have a Mark Webber. I don't think he'll ever have Sebastian Vettel. I don't think he'll ever have Max Verstappen of sort with Aston Martin like he had with Red Bull.
I
It
firmly
just
disagree. I
Yeah,
think if you
I
build
don't
a
think that at
car with
all.
top talent and top engineers, you will be able to recruit the best drivers. I don't think
I
it's
Absolutely.
don't
gonna
see it
happen
happening.
overnight, just like it didn't happen overnight at Red Bull.
I
Yeah,
just
and
I just don't see him being that successful with Aston Martin
he's
because
got all
all of
how?
the
He's got
pieces.
brand new the facilities are brand new, brand spanking new. They've got all the money in the world.
Deepest
Got 2
pocket.
they've got 2 drivers who are more than likely both on their way out, which opens you up to getting whoever you want. The deep like Mira said, the deepest pockets, they have everything, all the pieces in there. They just need someone to put them together, and Christian is really good at that. So,
Do I think there'll be some level of success with Aston Martin? Yes, right? Because the team is hot garbage and truly you can't get worse than what they're doing now. But to say he's going to recreate what he did with Red Bull or give him that level of success, I don't see that happening. Will there be some success? Sure, but not to the point where everybody thinks like, "Oh, Aston Martin's going to win it all now." I just don't see that happening.
I mean, we thought a year ago, we thought Aston Martin was going to have it all. Until the start of this season, we all fully expected Aston Martin to come out and bedazzle us and wow us. And look at us now.
They all but broken Newey. Has anybody heard from the man? Is he still alive?
I hope
he's
he's
not a
also in therapy.
front-facing kinda guy anyway.
But
I
what if
hope
he's not
the Formula 1
revolutionizing
therapy
anything?
is like a
Well,
huge career.
their problem is their power unit. Purely, like, I mean, I'm sure that there was problems with the chassis, but, like, I can't yeah, choose with the power unit.
I don't have
But
anything to drink, damn it.
it's admittedly, like, a problem from Japan. They left the car over in Suzuka for, like, 2 weeks, and they fixed some of the vibration issues, which was great. But it's I don't know. I doubt it's Adrian Newey's design that's just completely a disaster. I'm sure it plays a part.
Well, we'll keep our eye on that one because, like we always say, where there's smoke, there's fire. So we'll just keep our eye on that. Any other F1 silly season rumors that you guys have heard about? Me either. I mean, but hey, look, this all popped up over a week. So who knows?
Well,
We've got
I mean,
a little break and then Belgium.
we we've got the Liam Lawson's probably on the way out.
Yeah.
Sonoda could be coming back to Haas. I mean, there's a few that are running around, but
Yeah. I
nothing new.
think, it is a bummer though, because like I was listening to the commentators talk about it again this weekend. They were just talking about what an impressive drive Liam has done lately and how consistent he's been delivering points. I mean, them ending up in sixth and seventh with V carb. Like I jokingly said to Joe yesterday when Will Buxton tweeted that, I said, how funny would it be if they announced that Max Verstappen was going to V carb? Like the massive announcement from Will Buxton. Like, what if it was that Max was actually asking Laurent, put me in a V carb and let me see if I can deliver better. Like they
Yeah,
seem to be finishing races more consistently than I am. I was like jokingly, but yeah, there are some of those more midfield ones. Yuki is always back in there. Yuki's also in talks for potential IndyCar seat though too because of the Japanese manufacturing relationship. So I'd heard a lot of that, but I'd love to see Yuki back on the grid. But it is hard because I think Liam is actually doing a pretty decent job right now. So I know we talked about that last week, but I think Yuki would be great to have back on the grid. I think Liam is doing solid. I think Arvid is doing solid. So tough decisions for them. But Nikola Solov again won his third race in a row in F2. He is one win away from breaking the F2 season record, and we're only half of the way through the season. So pretty cool. So We'll see. Okay, any other F1 thoughts before we do a quick update on IndyCar? Okay, so we will switch over. IndyCar was at Mid-Ohio this weekend, and as you can see, Paul is repping his number 5 hoodie for Arrow McLaren. Pato O'Ward wins his first of this season, but what was really exciting was that it was a first ever IndyCar Arrow McLaren 1-2. So Pato O'Ward finishing first, Christian Lundgaard finishing second. In
Who
the
got third?
post-race interview, Christian Lundgaard, they asked, like, do you think if XYZ would have been different that you could have been winning this race? And Christian Lundgaard said, like, actually, no. Like, I think Pato had the better car today. I think the better guy won the race. And it was actually really hard to see Christian Lundgaard's post-race interview. He was pretty sour and down. And then the breaking news as of yesterday made a lot more sense. There were whisperings of it last week that Felix Rosenqvist and Scott Dixon may be in the Arrow McLaren lineup. And we had talked a couple of weeks ago about Felix Rosenqvist getting dropped by his team. And Paul and I were like, how do you drop the Indy 500 winner? Like, how do you not re-sign the Indy 500 winner? And I thought he has been made an offer he cannot refuse with the top team. Now we know that the lineup for next year at Arrow McLaren is Pato O'Ward, Felix Rosenqvist, Indy 500 winner, and the very accomplished Scott Dixon. So that means Christian Lundgaard, who has won more races this year than Pato has, who is
Well, don't forget they'll have
arguably
4
driving the
drivers.
best behind Alex Palou. Like, to me, what like the championship contenders this year are Alex Palou, Kyle Kirkwood, and Christian Lundgaard. And you drop Lundgaard. So now his post-race interview makes a lot more sense to me. So,
Don't
Paul,
forget
what are your thoughts on the Pato win, the McLaren 1-2, the Lundgaard drop, the new lineup for Arrow McLaren? What are you thinking?
don't forget Arrow McLaren is also gonna have, Ryan Hunter-Reay as a 4th car
Yeah,
for
fourth
the
car
Indy
for Indy
500 next year.
500, but like full-time season is just Scott. But I'm super excited for Pato and Felix. Let me state that. Like they're former teammates, very good friends. I love their dynamic. So they're like the Lando and Carlos to me of IndyCar.
I'm super excited. Scott Dixon, great driver, a lot of great history, has done amazing things for the sport. He can only be an asset to that Arrow McLaren team. Felix Rosenqvist, you know, another great guy. You just love him. He's very vocal about the fact that him and Pato are best friends. So it's great to reunite them back to the team. It's very clear that Arrow McLaren cares about one thing and one thing only, and that's the Indy 500. They don't care about anything else. They just want that Indy 500 win. So I think this is the best recipe to do it. Hopefully, the Chevy engine can do it. Hopefully, that team can figure it out because they've been right there on the cusp of it with Pato in the last couple of years. Hopefully, this is what they need to get over the hurdle. I don't know how I feel about them just putting all their eggs into the Indy 500 basket because it seems like they're just throwing away a whole season on focus on one. And I don't know. It kind of leaves a weird taste in my mouth. So, and also what's Pato going to do? This is 2027 is his last year contractually with Arrow McLaren.
Yeah.
So are
If
they
Pato
trying to
doesn't
do
start delivering more, like, I mean, we are this far into the season and this is Pato's first win. And
but
it's
my
not like he's had a
question
stellar season. So I think if Pato doesn't start delivering, I think he could be looking at a non-renewal position.
My question is, what isn't delivering? Is it the driver that's not doing well, or is it the car that's
It's
just
clearly
not
the driver
quite
because
there?
Lundgaard's delivering wins consistently and podiums behind those wins.
Who wins though?
Yeah, but look at his podiums.
Sure, I'll
He's
give you the
podiumed
podiums.
third in the standings,
So
second in the
then
standings. Let's
so
see.
then is it the driver that's unhappy with the team and not performing, or is it the car or is it just Pato's car that's not there? I don't know. There's so many questions, not a lot of answers.
Yeah.
We'll
I
only
mean,
have to see what
Alex
what
Palou's in
happens
the
next.
lead. Kyle Kirkwood's 56 points behind him. Christian Lundgaard is 65 points behind Palou. So only a 9-point differential between second and third right now. And Christian Lundgaard's trajectory has been up. Kyle Kirkwood started strong and faded off. So we'll see. There's not a lot of season left. Like, and there's still a lot of silly season to happen in IndyCar too. So, I mean, I think we've got a lot of the grid that's still gonna shake around and move for IndyCar before next year. Plus, not to mention, we have incredible Indy Next talent too. It's
I
like the
just
Formula 2 world right now where we've got some solid talent in there. There is some incredible Indy Next talent too. I wouldn't be surprised if we said goodbye to a couple of our Indy NTT series drivers and said hello to some Indy Next drivers. Like I could see one or two of them being pulled up in an attempt to just get some fresh blood in there and change the game for some teams that have not been seeing results. So who
well,
knows?
yeah, it looks like Christian Lundgaard's gonna end up going to take Scott Dixon's car and with a chip, so
Be cool. I
it would
think
be.
Lundgaard at Chip
That's
Ganassi
kind
Racing. I mean, think about how long Scott Dixon was at Chip Ganassi. Was it like 20 years
20
or something? Like
28 years.
yeah, like, it's insane. So, I could see Lundgaard. It's kinda like the same thing I feel about Christian Rasmussen, like, I could have seen if Rasmussen would have had a really incredible season, I could have seen him potentially being a candidate for Arrow McLaren, but, like, I was talking with Podium Pop, and they were talking about how much they actually love Christian Rasmussen staying with Ed Carpenter Racing and, like, building a career. I could see Lundgaard doing that with Chip Ganassi Racing the same way Scott Dixon did. Like, get a home, find a home, stay there, build that relationship, and develop that. So I
Yeah.
can see that. That'd be cool. But we've got
I hear
couple
Connor Daly's coming back too next year, so that'll be good for him. I don't see the only Christian Lundgaard is just not good at ovals, but clearly we have more road courses than we are in
Yeah,
street
I was gonna
courses than
say
we
your
have
ratio of
ovals.
that is different.
So this is where I don't understand Arrow McLaren's long term plan when it comes to this because granted Nolan Siegel is young and he was
He's
gonna go anyway. No,
he was
Nolan
going.
Siegel just really wasn't
Yeah.
there. He's got a better future in endurance or other races in Asia. But Christian Lundgaard is doing amazing in street and road courses. Why are you gonna throw that just because he's not good at ovals? We only have a handful of ovals throughout the year. So I don't get it. I don't know what's happening at Arrow McLaren. Ultimately, I'm happy. It's three really big names in the sport. So hopefully things go well. But I don't see the long term goal.
I don't either.
And if you ask me right now, my money is that Pato's leaving at the end of 27.
I would see that too. But only 5 races left this season, a bigger break. So kind of the same break that we have like in Formula 1, how we have a bit of a longer summer break after Hungary. We kind of have a bit of a bigger break too with IndyCar. So we had Mid Ohio, we have a weekend off, and then we have Nashville, which they've flipped. Remember, they flipped Nashville and Laguna Seca. So used to they finished the season in Nashville, and a lot of drivers had thoughts about that. So now they're finishing at Laguna Seca with the infamous corkscrew. But after Nashville, we have a 2 week break before Portland. So that is, I think, when we're going to see a lot more silly season news, just like we always see the silly season summer F1 news when there's that bit of a longer break. So I think we can expect more to come during that. But with only 5 races left in the IndyCar season, still a lot of opportunity and a very tight championship. Will Alex Palou win it all? Who could say? Maybe Kyle Kirkwood and Lundgaard are going to make a run at it, but we'll see. So with that, we will wrap up with just kind of like some racing that's happening this weekend. We do not have an F1 race this weekend. We do not have an IndyCar race this weekend, but we do have amazing racing. WEC is back at Sao Paulo, one of my favorite endurance races of the season. I freaking love Sao Paulo. And to have WEC at Sao Paulo is exciting. I know, Josh, you're going to be pumped about that one because you love Brazil
Hmm.
too, right?
I do. I love that track.
Yeah, this is just incredible. I
Is it
It's so much fun.
is
such
it
good racing.
is it the same one or close to the one they use in F1 or no?
Mhm,
No, it's the same.
same one.
The same layout?
Yeah,
No shit. That's awesome.
yeah.
How
It'll be
long is
interesting.
this race?
It's like WEC at Spa. It's the same track.
Same track.
How
Yeah,
long is this race?
6 hours.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, some of the WEC are 6, some of the WEC are 8, and then there's the 24 hours.
Or their distances. Qatar is like the 84 something something kilometers.
Yeah. What the fuck is a kilometer?
What? I don't know. That's why I don't know what it is. 'Cause I don't know. They just go in circles until they stop.
Also in the endurance world, we have IMSA in Canada, and we do have NASCAR in Atlanta. So that'll be, oh God, that's going to be a hot one. Hot.
Caliente.
Caliente. But yeah, still some great racing on this weekend. So plenty. We've got good endurance with WEC and IMSA, and then we've got
Hmm.
NASCAR, which to me also feels like endurance racing. If 4 hours in that car in Atlanta, no thank
That's
you.
longer than some of the IMSA races,
Yeah. Wild.
honestly.
Yeah, so good racing on this weekend. And then we just have 1 week off for F1, and then we've got Spa. So We'll be back next week with all of our thoughts on Spa, catch up on any racing, more silly season rumors for F1 and IndyCar, and any of the other good racing news. Anything else y'all want to close out with? Okay, I will work on those dog collars tonight. We'll be back next week for pups and podcasting and talk about racing. I hope everybody has an awesome week. As always, engage with us on socials. Send us your thoughts, send us your feedback, send us your questions, and we'll see you guys next week. Have a good one. Bye.
See ya.